Welcome to the official GeminIQ tutorial. If you're watching this, you're likely looking for a better way to research potential investments, something that goes beyond basic price charts. Most financial websites rely on third-party aggregators. While convenient, this often means the data has been processed or simplified before you see it. At GeminIQ, our philosophy is different. We extract our data directly from SEC filings. This ensures that when you look at a balance sheet or a cash flow statement, you are seeing the numbers how the company reported them, standardized for easy comparison. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the GeminIQ platform. We'll move from a quick initial check to a deep fundamental analysis, and finally, I'll show you how to build a peer comparison model using our Watchlist features. Let's start by pulling up a ticker. In this example, we're looking at NVIDIA. Before we dive into the dense financial reports, look at the company information header at the top of the page. We've designed this to give you an immediate pulse check on the stock using three specific sentiment indicators. The first one is the insider sentiment. This looks at the trailing 12 months of transactions by company insiders. Are they net buyers or net sellers? Second is institutional sentiment. This tracks the aggregate ownership percentage. We want to know if major funds are increasing their stake quarter over quarter. The third one is earning market reaction. This is unique to GeminIQ. Rather than just looking at whether they beat earnings estimates, we look at how the price actually reacted. If the stock price dropped after the report, we mark this as negative, regardless of what the headlines say. This header helps you orient yourself before you start digging deeper. The company information section also shows you the CIK number, the exchange it trades on, their fiscal year end date, and crucially, the SIC description, in this case, semiconductors and related devices. On the far right, you'll see a button labeled as Watchlist. Select this to add the company to any of your saved watch list or remove it. More on this later. Now let's look at the data itself. By default, you land on the Financial Statements tab. Here you have the standardized financial reports, the balance sheet, income statement, and cash flow. You'll notice a toggle at the top left for 10Q and 10K. Use 10Q if you want to see the quarterly progression and catch recent trends. Switch to 10K if you want to view the audited annual reports for a broader historical view. As you scroll down, you see the full granularity of the data. Assets current, marketable securities, accounts receivable. It is comprehensive, but for a quick analysis, it can be a lot to digest. This brings us to one of our most useful features, the custom table. Often you don't need to see every single line item. You might have a specific investment checklist you like to follow. The custom table allows you to filter out the noise. I can go to the metric selector and select only the metrics I need. Assets, liabilities current, EPS TTM, cash ratio, and PE TTM. Now here's how you can really speed up your analysis. Click the green Save Metrics button. You can name this template, for example, My Metrics. Now whenever you load a new company, like let's say AMD, you can instantly apply this exact view without having to rebuild it from scratch. Reading numbers in a table is accurate, but it doesn't always show you the speed of a trend. For that, we move to the Visualizations tab. This tool allows you to take any of the metrics we just looked at and plot them over time. Here we are plotting assets versus liabilities. This helps you visually confirm if the gap between what the company owns and what it owes is widening or shrinking. You also have the ability to change the chart type for each metric to either a line graph, a bar chart, or an area chart. Notice the transformations drop down at the top. Since we're looking at NVIDIA, a company that has grown exponentially, a standard linear chart might look distorted. You can switch this to logarithmic to better understand the percentage growth rate over time. Let's move to the variance tab. This tool is designed to help you understand market psychology regarding the specific stock. This is our earnings market reaction heat map. It can look a bit intimidating at first, so let's break it down. The rows represent fiscal years. The columns represent the time periods after a filing was released: 1 month, 2 months, and 3 months later. The colors indicate price performance. A bright green cell means the stock rallied significantly after that report. A red cell indicates a sell off. By looking at the history, you can spot behavioral patterns. Does this company often beat earnings but then sell off in the following month? If you see a wall of red in the 1 month column, it might suggest that the market tends to sell the news on this stock, giving you a hint to be patient with your entry. If you prefer pre-calculated ratios over raw data, the Metrics tab is your cheat sheet. We automatically calculate key performance indicators, so you don't need to open Excel to figure out margins. They are right here. Per share and margin. Here you can track gross profit margin and operating profit margin. Stable or expanding margins are often a sign of a company with a competitive advantage or moat. Turnover ratios. Further down, you'll see inventory turnover. This is crucial for chip companies. If this number slows down while their sales are rising, it could be a warning sign of bloating inventory. Below the margins, we find the growth rates. Now, beginners often obsess over the 1 year column, but as a pro, you should focus on the 3 year and 5 year columns. Semiconductors are cyclical. If you only look at 1 year growth, you might catch a company at the peak of a boom or the bottom of a bust, giving you a distorted reality. Look at net income growth, 5 year. This confirms a sustained structural shift in their business, the AI revolution. Next, we check the company's health. In a capital intensive industry like chip manufacturing, companies can drown in debt if they aren't careful. We look at the current ratios. This measures the company's ability to pay its short term bills. A number above 1.5 is generally safe. NVIDIA is sitting comfortably at 4.47. They have significantly more cash and inventory than they have bills due. This is my absolute favorite section, return ratios. If you only look at one metric on this entire page, make it ROIC, return on invested capital. This tells you how good the management team is at turning a dollar of investment into profit. Now let's move to the last section, valuation. With triple digit return on capital and a PE ratio that is actually compressing due to earnings growth, NVIDIA represents a rare combination of massive scale and high velocity. Now let's look at who owns the stock. Click on Insider Transactions. The chart at the top gives you a visual timeline. The red bars represent sales and green bars represent purchases. It's normal for executives to sell for diversification, but what we are looking for here are clusters of activity. The table below gives you the context. You can see the relationship column. Is it a director, an officer, or the CEO? You can see the specific price per share they transacted at. This helps you understand if insiders see value at current prices. The Institutional Ownership tab shows you the trend of professional money management. Ideally, you want to see the ownership percentage, which is represented by the purple line, remaining steady or trending upward. Finally, no analysis is complete without comparing the company to its peers. We can find competitors using the advanced search tool. On the last page, in the company information section, we saw NVIDIA's SIC description. Let's search that here. I'll select SIC description and search for semiconductors. Now we can see all companies that fall into this specific industry. You also have the option to filter this down to companies within a certain market cap. Once you have identified competitors, let's use AMD, Intel, and NVIDIA. You can add them to a watch list. This is where GeminIQ becomes a powerful comps engine. Inside the watch list, we have a mini version of the custom table. You can look at assets current, liabilities current, and EPS TTM for all three companies side by side. You have the ability to customize even further. At the top of the table, you will see a toggle for custom, 10Q, and 10K. Custom allows you to select whether you want quarterly or annual data in the specific quarter you want to show for each. Selecting 10K or 10Q will show the latest filing for whichever is selected. Use this for the companies you're actively investing in and tracking earnings. We will select custom and look at fiscal year 2024. But the most powerful feature is the watch list visualization at the bottom. Look at the chart on the right, semi-comp EPS. We're plotting EPS TTM for all three companies. You can clearly see the line for NVIDIA trending sharply upward, distinguishing itself from Intel and AMD in terms of recent earnings dominance. On the left, semi-comp assets, we compare assets current. This visualizes the sheer scale of resources available to each company. You still have all the same features here as the visualizations on the research page. Choose your chart type, transform the data, and set specific dates. This is how you move from analyzing a single stock to picking the winner in a sector. There's another way to use Watchlist, and that's to track what you're currently invested in. So here's a dashboard set up to track stocks you already own. Unlike a screener where you're looking for cheap, you're answering one question: is the business fundamentally improving? I have customized my table of 5 specific columns to tell me that story. First, I have net revenue growth 1 year. This is the pulse check. I need to know if demand is slowing down before the market reacts. Next is net profit growth margin. This is crucial for inflation. If a company can't pass on cost, this number turns negative. I want to see this positive or flat. It proves their moat is intact. But the most important column for a long-term holder is this one: retained earnings growth. Many people ignore this, but as a value investor, I love it. It tells me that after paying dividends and expenses, the company's war chest is getting bigger. A company growing its retained earnings is mathematically increasing its intrinsic value. Finally, I pair PE TTM right next to EPS growth. I look for the gap. If the PE is expanding or getting expensive, but EPS growth is slowing down, that is my signal to trim the position. I want to own companies where the earnings growth supports the price tag. Below the table, I visualize the bottom line. On the left, I plot EPS. I am looking for a smooth line moving up and to the right. If I see a stock where the EPS line is flattening out or rolling over, while the stock price is still going up, I know I'm looking at a bubble in my own portfolio, and it might be time to take profits. And that is the complete GeminIQ workflow. We moved from a high-level sentiment check down into the raw SEC filings, through behavioral analysis with the variance map, and into a direct peer comparison. Finally, we showed you how to build a custom health check dashboard to ensure your active investments are compounding the way you expect. The goal of GeminIQ is to give you the tools to verify the narrative for yourself using clean, traceable data. Thank you for watching. You can start your own analysis right now at GeminIQ.com.